Welcome back to the Intentional Coaching Podcast. Today's topic was inspired by a few different thoughts where the word resonance kept coming to mind. And my thoughts started with wanting to ask everyone about their self-care routines and what their goals are for what they want to achieve in any area of their life. But really thinking about the different practices and rituals and methods that people have for achieving something, an outcome or a goal. I thought of it as the self-care rituals that people do. And then I started thinking about all sorts of things where there's so much information out there telling everyone what the one best way is to get a result that they want. And while I totally believe in the guidance that is necessary from learning from others and finding what resonates with you, I also think that it can become a major roadblock to someone achieving their own version of success or achieving the results that they want when you become very stuck on it needing to be done in one certain way that may not be the right way for you. So although someone else can achieve a result by doing something in a certain way, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the same way that you need to follow in order to get the same result. So I started playing with this idea of one of my beliefs that there is many different ways for a person to achieve the same result. So we can all achieve the same thing, end up in the same place of achieving this final goal. But because we're all unique, everyone has their own unique path and way of getting there that is the most easy, joyful, fun way of achieving it. And I see that being the difference of choosing the path of least resistance, choosing the things that resonate with you, being the way, when you choose the things that resonate with you, that's the path to least resistance, which means the most joy, the most fun along the way, the most ease and flow as you approach achieving something. And when you're not doing something in resonance, I see it as when you're following someone else's way, that's when you come up against resistance and roadblocks along the path. And that's when things feel a bit more complicated or harder to achieve and it feels more like struggle. And so I really wanted to narrow in on that topic today of finding what resonates with you, finding your resonance, which is your own vibrational set point. And when we talk about like high vibe energy and things like that, that's when you are in resonance with something. It's like you can feel it. You can feel it in your center. You can feel the wholeness of it. You can feel that it's the right thing for you because you resonate with it very deeply and strongly on a very deep level. And everything that I teach and every program that I create is about helping you find that resonance, helping you find that essence within you, your true essence, your true calling, your true desires, everything that you are meant for, and also every way that you are meant to do it. And the way that you are going to achieve something that you want, even if it's something that someone else already has or something that you already see someone living with, it doesn't mean that you need to follow the exact same steps as them in order to achieve it. Everyone has their own right path. Everyone has their own way of achieving something. And the way to make it fun and easy and joyful and fulfilling is by following that sense of resonance within you. Every time that you make a decision, every time before you decide to do something, it's about really checking in with yourself and having practices that keep you centered and balanced enough so that you can feel the feeling of knowing if something resonates with you or not. And it is your guidance system. It is the place where you really have this ultimate knowing of your own guidance of where you want to go and what feels right and what doesn't, and what the path of least resistance is for you. And so I talk about resonance, and when I bring it down into real life topics, it feels a little messy. But if I were to compare it to something, I could compare it to diets. So if you have a weight loss goal, there are so many different ways to achieve the outcome that you want to achieve. And there are so many different people and authorities saying that there is this one best way to do it, or the only way to do it. And that's not true. So it's great to have the information and the guidance, and to take maybe little pieces from everywhere to build your own best way of doing something, to really think about a practice, or do it for a couple of days, or if it's a diet, think about how it makes you feel, if it resonates with you. And also, like, trusting your own instincts. If you really are in tune with your body and you really listen to your body and your intuition and your guidance, the things that your body craves is quite often what it needs. And although that may not be true for everyone, there's a difference between like a craving and an addiction. So your body is craving something generally, like if you really listen to what you want in each moment and what is the most nourishing thing that you can put into your body, generally you'll feel a resonance with something. But that's different than a craving, which is your mind. So it's really looking at the difference between where you're receiving information from and what part of you is kind of running the show or in control. Is it that intuitive, internal resonance within you where you're receiving the information, or is it your mind that's pulling in information that you've been filled with from all over the place, from so many different sources, and it's all convoluted and confusing, and you're just following something because you were told that it was the best way? So there's so many different directions I can go with this conversation. And what I really want to drive home is that if you don't know where to start on finding what resonates with you most, and on finding that place within you that is your guidance, that is your intuition, that knows everything that you need and everything that you desire, and how to get you there, and how to take your own right path, your own best way of getting there. It really starts with you spending time with yourself. It's like getting to know yourself. It's like developing a relationship with yourself. So rather than putting all of your attention to all of the things outside of you, which could be people, things, activities, social media, whatever it is that keeps you distracted, think about all of the friendships, relationships, what have you, that you have in your life, and then really reflect on what type of a relationship do you have with yourself? How much time do you spend with yourself? How much time do you spend getting to know yourself? How much time do you spend listening to your intuition and listening to your own inner guidance? It really is about developing a relationship. And some ways to get there are simple little ways, like even just committing to carve out 20 minutes a day to yourself, and not saying that you have to do the exact same thing every day, but creating some sort of ritual, whatever it is that quiets your mind, and something that is a commitment just to you. So if it's somewhere where you can spend time on your own, if it's going for a walk, being out in nature, doing yoga, doing some slow movement, somatic exercises, reading, meditating, all of these different ways that quiet your mind. because that's where you're going to develop this relationship, this knowing, this intuition, this trust with yourself. And it's where your power is. Like, this is where you get the empowerment to do the things that you're meant to do in this world, and where you will feel so much resonance with your desires and your own personal best way of doing things that are right for you, that are on your own path. I think these things are so important. And what I also wanted to share is that you don't have to do the exact same thing every day to achieve the result either. So committing to a practice with yourself every day, it doesn't mean it has to be the exact same thing every day, but it does mean showing up for yourself every single day. I personally make it a goal to do something every day that's just me sitting with myself, really getting centered within myself. But those activities that center me look different every single day. I don't limit myself or restrict myself in any way to saying I have to do this one thing and it's the only way that I'm going to achieve that resonance with myself. I don't believe in having those rules, because part of your reason for being here is to be free and to explore and to evolve. And to evolve, you don't want to limit yourself or restrict yourself to one certain thing, one certain way of being, only one way of achieving a goal. It comes with knowing yourself and trusting yourself and believing enough in yourself and committing to yourself that you will find ways to be so in tune with who you are that you know what the resonance feels like for any topic. You know that vibrational set point for everything in your life. And even if you don't always listen to that guidance, that's okay. You'll know it so well that you'll know when you're making the choice to listen to it or not. And so that's my wish for everyone. That's why I wanted to talk to you today. And it all was inspired by a few different things. But yesterday, I wanted to know what everyone does for self-care, because I, again, do different things every single day, but I am fully committed to doing things that fulfill me, nourish me, whatever it is. But it's different every day. So yesterday, I went to the osteopath. I love the osteopath. If you haven't heard of one or been to one, I think it's incredible. But what triggered it was later on, then I had a bath and I did like a face mask and all of that fun stuff. And to me, that was what I needed. That felt so good to me. And that to me was my self-care things yesterday. Even though I also did somatic exercises, I went for a walk, I did a meditation, but those weren't the things that I classified as my self-care for the day. And anyways, back to the osteopath. The reason why I was thinking about that was because one of the things that I love is the small movements that the osteopath does, and the ability to shift things within your body that can reset your nervous system. And I started thinking about the other things that I do for resetting my nervous system. So somatic exercises, being in nature, meditation, having hot baths, all sorts of different things. But that's where I got the thought from, that if I were to highly recommend going to an osteopath in order to reset your nervous system, I don't want people to be set on one single way of doing things. So I can work on my nervous system in about 6 different ways from different sources that all feel really aligned to me. And I think that that's the message. That's what it's about. So when you're looking on social media or wherever you get your sources of information from, or your sources of truth, you're going to see that there's so much information that says that this is the best way, this is the only way, this is how you achieve it. So I just started thinking about how much more important I think it is, as opposed to telling someone that there is this only best way and everyone has to do it this way in order to achieve a result. Reflecting on the nervous system reset and ways that you can calm your nervous system. I even forgot to say yoga. Like, there's so many different ways that you can do that and achieve that. And it's about what resonates with you in any moment. So it doesn't have to be the same thing every day. It doesn't have to be the same practice. It doesn't have to be the same exercise. It doesn't have to be the same source. But what it does need to be, what I think is so crucial, is that it has to be something that is in resonance with you for that day. And when you can get to a place where you can live moment to moment, being so aligned with what your vibrational set point is and knowing what you need in any moment to feel uplifted, feel joy, feel peace, feel calm, feel resonance with who you truly are. I think that's the ultimate. And that's where you receive the guidance, the information, the source of truth that's just meant for you only, your own path, your own best way, rather than getting the mind clogged up with thinking that there's only one way to achieve a result. I really hope this resonated with you. The word resonance felt really strong to me. I even looked up what it meant, and it was interesting how it talked about like vibration, sound, which we all have an energetic vibrational set point. And so I found that so fascinating, because if you really think about what you're in resonance with, that's what it is. It's your emotional, vibrational, energetic set point. I'll leave you with that. This one was a bit longer for today. I'm Laura Varga, lifedesigncoaching.ca.